Pisces, welcome to your Astroflower reading for the week going from the 23rd through to the 29th. We did do a mid-January reading for you as well, and for the collective as well, which you might want to have a look at. We're going to be doing your chakras and then your aura and then going into your tarot cards. Okay, so let's just see what's going on here. I hope you've enjoyed the respite from Mercury and Mars. I think it's gone back direct now. And it will be, Mercury will be going back into retrograde at some point, I think. Let's just have a look what's going on in your root chakra. Okay, so we're coming up to the last month before your birthday, and both sides of your root chakra are well installed. So you might find that there's a lot less movement around you, that things are a little bit stagnant in a way, because you like it when things move. You love it. But it's also that autumn period. Now, the autumn period in the last 3 months before your birthday is just basically we observe what we've been doing over the last year generally, and work out to what we want to continue, what we want to stop, what we want to start, and all of that sort of things. And that could be within your emotional world as much within your material world. And I liken it to this. It's like a tree that sheds its leaf, and each leaf that drops out from the tree is like a memory from the last year, and the tree can observe that memory as it goes down and remember every aspect of that memory and learn from that memory. And as that memory hits the ground, it turns into earth and then nourishes that tree for the dreams of tomorrow. So this is a very important part of the year. And for you, Pisces, you're going to be into that emotional, the majority of you are going to be moving into that emotional sort of side. That's the last month before your birthday. So the 2 months before your birthday is on the material side. The last month is mainly to do with the spiritual, emotional side of life. And it seems to be running true here, because you've got both of your root chakras that are well defined, and certainly the one on the right hand side is well defined. This could, obviously, when we go into reflection, we're not doing something else. So that's why there is a certain sensation that things are slowing down. They're not. It's just a case of things are being put into order. And I would concentrate on that this week for you. It will make your life a lot easier in the going year. Okay? The sacrum is actually really well balanced. That's really nice. And that's, the sacrum's all to do with your desires. Your desires materially and spiritually and emotionally. Right hand side's to do with the spirit and the emotions. Left hand side's to do with your sort of money, finances, administration, that sort of thing. And it's, it's well balanced at the moment. It's well balanced. It's very nice. It runs in line with the root chakra, which is also, because it's in balance. When things are in harmony, things don't really move either. So you may have this sensation, enjoy that harmonious moment, basically. I know it can be a bit frustrating and impatient. We can be a little bit impatient about the whole sort of thing. But, I'm sorry, I'm just arranging my blanket. I think it's a good thing for you. Just taking time out, basically. Let's just see how it's going on in your solar plexus. Your solar plexus is very wide. It's like a river. When the river is up in the mountains, it's jumping around. It seems it has that illusion that it's going very quickly, and it might be going very quickly, but then again, if you look at the volume of water that's going, there's not a great deal of volume of water. Once that river gets further down the valley, it gets a lot wider, but then it's carrying a lot more, and it appears to be going slower. But if you look at the number of liters per hour, it's going a lot faster than the river that is at the top of the mountain. So it's the perception of how we live life is very important here at this time of change. And you may look at a river and say, oh, it's just slowly going along. But there is a mass of water in there going forward. And when you look at the liters per hour, it's going to be going a lot quicker. So sometimes you'll think that it's actually going a lot slower, but you will want this time back if you don't appreciate it now. In the future, when you get back in, you jump back in that river, you'll realize that you are actually moving quite quickly, and yeah, maybe you wanted to slow it down a bit in the future. No, this is the moment to appreciate it. This is the moment as the tree to sit and be at one with itself, as it allows that what's it called in Sev in French? It's called sap. Gee whiz. Sorry, I do apologise. I got caught in French there. So the sap, just sitting in the sap and just allowing things to just kind of, and it's all to do with the magnetic field as well. The trees, they are much more connected than we are, and they are very much more sort of centralised. But here within your solar plexus, it's a very wide, so it's very accompanying. It's enjoying the company that is around you. You may get that sensation that people are attracted to you. It's like a nice fire on a cold evening. Everyone will go and sit around it, that sort of thing. Let's just see what's going on in your heart. Okay, I need to look at your third eye and your throat chakra, because I want to understand the heart a lot better. Okay, so there is a lot of emotions in your heart at the moment. It seems to be very full, very much like your opposite sign, Virgo. It seems to be very full. There is a social aspect to it as well, which is nice. But the communication does not have the depth to touch those emotions. So you might be sort of being communicative with other people that are around you, but it's very much on a surface sort of thing. It may not be satisfying your heart, this communication, and you might want more, a deeper discussion with people. I think this is obviously more to do with relationships, but it could also be in work. So basically, you could have a situation at work or within your job or your business or your projects where you feel that there's a moral sort of situation or the way a company functions, and you'd like to see that to evolve. And the companies, it's like greenwashing. It's not really doing what it says on the tin sort of scenario. You may get that within the business side, but I do believe it's much more on the emotional sort of side of your life. I think it's you've got a lot. You're gathering a lot of information at the moment, so there is a lot going through your third eye, which is understandable from the time of year you are. But occasionally, I would allow that communication to happen. So I would allow that throat chakra to take over from the third eye, because the third eye and the throat chakra are the same chakra. They're not two different chakras. Okay, so if you've got the third eye that is really far out, you're going to have the throat chakra, which is going to be reduced. If I increase or reduce the third eye, I increase the root chakra. That's how it works, basically. And it changes very quickly. It changes on a dime, as I say. So I would get into that sort of communication side of life if I was you. It might be difficult to start, but it will, once the ball gets rolling, I think you'll find it very satisfying. Let's put it that way. Let's just see what's going. Yeah, because your crown chakra is holding a lot as well at the moment. If you're going to take on a lot, organize it within you. So this is recognize how you want it. This seems to be a work that you are doing on you, and this is what this autumn period is all about, which I was talking about. So I would get into that idea of exploring the avenues of the emotions that you would like to experience in the coming year, or the spiritual path that you would like to experience in the coming year. take the week there so you can go out for a walk, or go for an evening at the theatre, but allow that to sort of impregnate your sort of being, so you can actually give birth to new ideas and possibilities within your emotional world after your birthday. Yeah, this is a process that's going to take 2 or 3 weeks, and it's going to be a lot of pressure. You're going to feel like there's a lot of pressure on you, and the world sort of says to us that we've got to keep going, we've got to keep doing, we've got to keep expanding. And that's not the way things work. Everybody exhales as much as they do inhale. You always end up with exactly the same number. At the beginning, exhale, and then when we die, it's okay, same number. That's the yin and yang of things. And once we understand that, all of a sudden, we can make every situation work for us in a really good way. So, you've got this root, you've got this foundation, which is really good. You don't need to mess around with that. What you do need to mess around with is what's going on your periphery around you, and how is that affecting you, and how it is affecting you is the most important thing, really, out of the whole sort of thing. So I would get into how the ideas, you can convert them into communication, so that actually works in the future. You can put into place and manifest your future, basically. Let's just go on to let me just see if there's any sort of meditation or something like that in that respect. I think the 7 wonders will help you out here a lot, actually. The 7 wonders are the reason we do everything. So they're the only choices we make in life, and we make them between the ages of 0 and 9 months of our life. After 9 months, there is no choices to make whatsoever. It is an illusion. And the 7 wonders, I go into it. It's all the sort of senses and stuff like that, and how it affects your life and your reaction, or your interaction. There you go. Your interaction with those 7 wonders of the world. Okay. I think that would be a good thing to help sort of utilize that energy, or those emotions and those things, that structure that's building up in you. Let's have a look at your aura now, and let's see what's going on there. Obviously, this is a general reading, and the aura does change within seconds, as much as your chakras. It's a living thing. It's not stagnant. It's not just blue. That's not how it works. I've been physically observing magnetic fields around everything. As much as on my dowsing rods, which have a very nice, almost like a Jedi sort of what do you call it? Lightsaber. So yeah, you get around those. It makes me so happy. I've got to go dowsing again. Thank you for that, Pisces, giving me that bit of inspiration. So these magnetic fields, they change all the time. So it's a general sort of reading. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, so it's very, very top heavy. So within your meditation, or within your daydream, before you're back in the room, as it were, just have a moment if you realise like you've just been off, and then someone says, Tom, are you here? And you kind of go, oh, back in the room. Just have that second to just sort of kind of go, okay, and I put everything back. Yes, sorry, I was miles away. That sort of thing. You do need a moment of transition between the two. Okay, and then once you do that, that moment of transition, so within your meditation or when you're thinking, I use this. It's a very simple technique. There's loads of techniques out there. This is just a technique that I've developed, which is where you take a soap bubble, you visualize it on the top of your head, and then you allow that soap bubble to just gently slide all the way down your back, down your legs. It splits into 2 around the bottom of your back, and then goes down the 2 legs and gets to your toes, and then just goes and pops. It's just like energy hygiene in a way. It's like just taking a shower, which everybody does on a regular basis, of different variants of regularity. But Yeah, so I would, I would get into that, because then that's going to help with sort of like sleep deprivation, anxiety attacks, um, uh, difficulty of walking around things and not bumping into things, and bouts of anger. There's loads of things that top heavy energy really does affect in your life. So you can eliminate a lot of annoying little things in your everyday life, which will make life a whole lot better. Okay, yeah, there you go. That's your reading. It's all about the here and now for you, apparently. Let's get into the tarot cards and let's see what's going on here. Did I say you were feeling stuck? The first card that jumps out, look at that. Eight of Swords. It's all a thing about feeling stuck in a way. So I think it's an illusion that you're feeling stuck. And the Eight of Wands, eight of Swords, I've lost it now in the pack, but the Eight of Swords, in the mirror, the person's all tied up, and outside, it's all sort of, the person's all free. So what is the illusion? Which side is the illusion? And I think this is the work you've got to do in yourself. So let's just see what's going on in your overall energies here. They're showing me like a golden acorn. I've never seen a golden acorn, but it's like a golden nugget in life. And I think you've got to dig for those golden nuggets within you at the moment. That's what it seems like. Yeah, you got the Knight of Wands. It's getting you into that rhythm. Usually a very fast card. So, but, that horse that is behind the Knight of Wands is free as a bird. It's running around, it's dancing to the rhythm of the knight who is there playing the drums. The knight is not actually going anywhere. The knight is giving the rhythm of life to everything that is around them. And I think this is a case for you. You can use that understanding and knowledge from within you in order to give life the intentions of what you want to live after your birthday. And it's going to be fast, I think, inside you rather than outside of you, if you know what I mean. Okay, this is what I was talking about, perceptions and illusion. This is the Eight of Swords as well. Inside you it's really quick, outside you is really slow. It's those two contradictory sort of scenarios. Let's just see what's going on the on your karmic message. This is for your relationship side. I think you'll be better off on one-on-one scenarios here. So groups and massive parties and stuff like that, I'm not sure is going to be your thing. You may feel a little bit lost in that. I think you need to touch base with individuals that are around you. Yeah, healthy boundaries. I think maybe it's sometimes good to sort of say, no, I'm good, I'm okay. I'm just going to go for a walk down the beach. And, someone may turn around and sort of say, oh, you're going down the beach, I'll come with you. So that you can get this one-to-one scenario where you can talk as well, you can express yourself. And I think that's what the healthy boundaries, realising, I think here is, you're going through that transition, that leaf that is going through you, that autumn period. And here in that individual sort of thing is sorting out, putting healthy boundaries there, getting in place what you want to experience the next year. Okay, let's just see how the divine plan is influencing you. No pressure. It's almost as if they're giving you like the Six of Swords. They're not giving you a rite of passage, but they're just taking the pressure off from their side. The Page of Pentacles. It is learning. It's a learning curve here, and the universe is, that could be that golden acorn that I was telling you about. That's what the the Page, of Pentacles is is bringing towards you. It's that learning process of seasons, of how we take a seed, we plant a seed, and nourish or nurture the things, those plans that we've set down in life. And as we nurture them, the plant grows, and then it brings in fruit, which then increase the volume of seeds we've got to plant for the following year, as well as the food that it provides. And I think the universe is trying to help you to understand this process of longer term seasons within you, rather than the short term seasons, because you're much more short term seasons than long term seasons, Pisces. Yeah. Okay, so let's have a look how your guides are trying to influence this karmic message. They're trying to connect you to the right individuals, create scenarios where you're free, the other person is free, so the conversation can be had. Basically, that's what it sort of seems like. It's coming through. Yeah, they're encouraged. They're trying to create a scenario where you can open your heart to receive the gifts from other people that are around you, but as much as give your gifts to the other people that is around you, and talk in depth with the people that are around you, where your heart is concerned, and the energies within your heart, the emotions that are within your heart. Really, really nice there, Pisces. Let's just see how the guides are trying to influence the conversation that is within you. Capricorn's good at this, and we've got that fish tail, so we've got an aspect of Pisces in it. Capricorn and Pisces are very similar in a way, completely different, but very similar. They have very similar aspects to them, and they can bury themselves in their work, so they don't talk about their heart. And it's not a case of just talking about it there in the open space. It's talking to the person who is concerned. That's what it's all about. And I think here your guides are sort of trying to encourage you to do that. It is a learning curve. You are going through this process of learning to get to your dreams and aspirations, basically, within your spiritual life, within your emotional life. And you need to converse with the people around you. And it's learning to put into place those healthy boundaries so no one gets hurt in this scenario. It's just an enjoyment and very productive for the future and going on. And that speed of the Knight of the Wands will help you to start or break the ice, start that conversation with the person who is concerned with multitude of different scenarios, a multitude of people. It's not just one person here, I think. It could well be, but I think it's more to do with how you're setting yourself up with all of your relationships in the future. But learning curve for you. Let's just see what's going on your material side. So this is the karmic message here. Be careful not to burn your fingers. Yeah, be careful not to burn your fingers. It seems that, let me try and find, I need to get a bit more information than that. Okay, so we're back to that golden nugget. Not all glitters is gold. And I think it's a case here of discerning. You may have decided, I want to do this job, I want to do this business and stuff like that. I think this side here needs to get sorted before you can really do that. So I wouldn't, this is what I was saying earlier on, don't run off and just go into your work. And I think here is basically, yeah, you know what you want, now go and see what's on offer. Don't buy yet, just observe the opportunities. and eventually you'll get to know, you know, there might be 2 or 3 of the same something that you want to buy, and it's made by 2 or 3 different companies, and then behind that, you look at that, you see that those 3 things were available, and then you're talking to some friends, and that person sort of says, oh, that version there is a load of rubbish, and it will help you to define a lot more about, you know, what you should invest in, what you should use in order to help you to accomplish what you should start realizing now inside you is what you want to do. Okay, so yeah, it's a bit of a tower moment. I think this is burning your fingers. You got to be careful here. You've got to pick your you've got to take your time. Got to take your time, because it's learning. I don't think it's necessarily a tower moment, because this is a karmic mission here and a message. It's not necessarily what's coming in. It's basically what you've got to learn here is to avoid a tower moment if you so desire to, you know, to avoid it. There is also reason to be said that it's good to encourage in a way, because it gets rid of a lot of crap in your life. You know, it depends on what you're going through in regards to your job and your business. But it's what you need to learn about at the moment is tower moments. That's what you got to learn about. And that's where you can burn your fingers. And talking about acorns and stuff like that, you know, I said don't burn your fingers. You've got flames on there. You've also got the squirrel on there as well. This is a very important, and one of the nuts there, I think they're hazelnuts. They're not acorns, but they're hazelnuts. But one of the nuts is actually on fire. You know, I would hate one of my nuts to be on fire. You know, yeah, there's a learning curve about this, and if you do put this into process, I think you're going to come out of the other side of your birthday on fire, blistering, amazingly. Let's just see how the divine universe is trying to help you with this. They're teaching you to, I think they're providing you with a situation of vibrations and stuff like that. They're channeling your direction, so it's and universe is being a little bit tricky. They're playing with you a little bit, I think, in order to help you understand the scenario. Yeah, so they want you to get to that stage of happiness after difficulty, and that difficulty, and this is way down the line, you know. Happiness is that fence here, which you will find on the 9 of Wands. So you've got that little fence there, which is the 9 of Wands, and then you go up to your happiness. Yep, it goes that way. Which happiness afterwards, and that's what the universe is trying to do. So the universe itself may be putting in healthy boundaries, which you may feel like is stopping you, making you stop for a second. Then you have to kind of go round it and everything like that. And don't get annoyed. Look at it as a moment of understanding. If you do that, all of a sudden, you're going to be hot to trot, as they say. You know, let's just see what's going on the how the guides are trying to influence this karmic message. They're helping you. You know, when I said sort of like choosing between those 3 different manufacturers of one thing you want to buy, they're helping you to do this with coincidences that are around you, which help you to recognize what is good and what is not good for you, basically. So they're really working hard for you. They're trying to help you to realize or look at things and realize that you need to look in a different way. The hangman is usually hanging from the tree of knowledge, and they invert themselves. I do it all the time, laying on massive bales of hay and just laying there and looking at the world upside down and just watch people running around. They sort of like spring, bing, bing. It's really weird. Just try it. I've done it all the time since a kid. And we come back to that idea of the perception of life. I think this is really important. Patience is a virtue for you. You know, looking at things differently and being a little bit patient about it. Let's just see how the guides are trying to influence this conversation that is within you. It's a buyer's market out there. So hold that power within you. Stay strong. Don't get sold on the very first deal. What's that song? It's a Beatles song, isn't it? Don't get sold on the very first. Anyway, yeah, don't get sold on the very first thing. You know, King of Wands, Knight of Wands. You know, it's King of Wands. Sorry, I do apologise. King of Wands. What was I saying earlier on about that? Yeah, I said this is almost like a princess or a prince in a way, didn't I? Of Wands, and it goes through that idea of being a Knight of Wands, and it ends up as the King of Wands. You have this within you, and I think your guides are trying to help you realize that Tower moment, if you, as I said, Tower moments are not necessarily a bad thing. Stay strong and true to yourself, and see things in a different way. You're going to get to that happiness after difficulty in an amazing way. Emma, I hope you like this reading. Really good reading for you, I think. Really do enjoy it. Can't wait to get back to Wales and stuff like that. And it'd be good to sort of connect with you in the future. But yeah, very good reading. Really enjoying this. Really enjoying this for you, Pisces. Okay, let's just see what the overall energy is going out of this week into the following week. If you deal with that, if you open up and start communicating, all of a sudden we're going to be in a scenario where is love is in the air sort of thing. It's you can feel like it almost feels a little bit like the spring has sprung, you know, and yeah, it's a really nice vibration if you do the work. If you don't do the work, let's see if you don't do the work, yeah? You're going to be butting your head up against something. You're going to be very frustrated the following week and the weeks after that. I think you're going to be almost angry. Walking away from the past into the future. Walking towards that sunshine, that happiness. It is a process. So this is why I got two aspects of the overall, the end of it, or the outcome. Basically, this is a process that you're going to be going through over the next month. It's going to take you time to get to that sun, but enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey. Walking away, she's walking away from the past year, and she's greeting the new year that is coming. And you are in this process. And as it comes out into March, the beginning of March, there is loads going on. And this is why I think you're going to go ballistic. I forgot all about that. Blimey. I forgot all about that. That's, yeah, that's going to be really, really good for you, Pisces. Thank you very much for being with us here on this journey. Thank you very much for your support on this channel. If you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Subscribe. I've opened up 5 slots, 5 possibilities for private readings or healing sessions with myself for YouTube watchers. There is a link in the description below. That's for the next couple of months, if you so desire. Yeah, in the meantime, Pisces, don't forget, life should be fun, so please do enjoy.